My wife believed that I cheated on her, which I never did, and filed for divorce. Now that the truth is out, she wants me back. It started with a text while I was at work. "We're done. Pack your stuff." No explanation, no context, just those 5 words that ended my marriage. I tried calling 17 times. Every single call went to voicemail. I texted asking what was wrong, if she was okay, if the kids were safe. Nothing. When I got home, the locks were changed. My clothes were thrown on the front lawn in trash bags. Neighbors were watching from their porches. I stood there in my work uniform, completely lost, holding my toolbox like an idiot. I'd been married for 9 years. We had 2 kids, and suddenly I was homeless. I went to my brother's place, and he let me crash on his couch. That's when she finally called. She was screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. Her best friend Hannah told her she saw me at the Marriott downtown with another woman. Hannah even had photos, detailed photos. She said she'd been tracking this affair for weeks, gathering evidence, waiting for the right moment to tell my wife. Except I'd never been to that hotel in my life. I worked 60-hour weeks as an electrician. I barely had time to sleep, let alone have an affair. But my wife wouldn't listen. She said Hannah had timestamps, receipts, everything. She said Hannah was crying when she told her, devastated to be the one to break her heart. Hannah had even shown her text messages that looked like they were from my number. She served me divorce papers the next week, took the kids to her mother's house 3 states away. I was allowed 1 supervised phone call per week. My daughter was 7, my son was 5. They kept asking when they could come home. My daughter asked if it was her fault. That broke something in me I didn't know could break. I moved into my brother's basement and started gathering proof of where I actually was those days Hannah claimed I was cheating. Bank statements showing purchases near my job sites. Security footage from work showing me clocking in and out. Receipts from the gas station I stopped at every morning. My lawyer said it wasn't enough to prove Hannah lied, just that I wasn't at that hotel. She could claim I went on different days. The divorce went through. I got every other weekend with my kids. I had to pay child support on top of splitting our savings. I lost half of everything because my wife believed her best friend over me. 6 months later, I was finally getting back on my feet. I'd started talking to someone I met at my niece's soccer game. Her name was Rachel. She was a teacher, recently divorced, kind in a way that felt effortless. We'd gotten coffee 3 times, then dinner twice. Nothing serious, but it felt like maybe I could trust someone again. She never asked invasive questions, never made me feel like I had to prove myself. That's when my ex showed up at my brother's place unannounced. She was crying so hard she could barely breathe. Hannah's boyfriend had caught her cheating and found something on her laptop, a folder labeled Project, filled with photoshopped images, pictures of me that Hannah had lifted from social media, edited into hotel backgrounds, placed next to stock photos of women she'd downloaded. Hannah had been photoshopping pictures of me for months, creating fake text message screenshots, manipulating metadata to make it look real. She'd been in love with my ex since college. She thought if she could break us up, eventually my ex would turn to her. She'd been planning this for over a year, slowly planting seeds of doubt. My ex begged me to forgive her. She was on her knees on my brother's driveway. She said she'd been manipulated, gaslit, that Hannah had been feeding her lies about me for years, slowly poisoning her against me. She said she never stopped loving me. She wanted to move back in together, restart our marriage, tell the kids we were a family again. She'd already called her lawyer about reversing the custody agreement, but here's what she didn't know. During those 6 months of hell, watching my kids cry every time I had to drop them off, sleeping in a basement because I couldn't afford my own place after legal fees, I learned something about trust. Rachel never asked me to prove where I was. She never questioned my character. She just believed me. I looked at my ex, still crying on the concrete, and said the locks weren't the only thing that changed that day. I changed too. I'm not the man who would take back someone who threw him away without a conversation, who kept his kids from him, who believed a photoshopped picture over 9 years of marriage. She's still calling. I don't answer.